Let me ask you something. Do you like obscure Soviet heavy tanks, or Israeli MBTs exclusively? Do you enjoy having to play an incredibly frustrating game for 40 hours a week? Does mindlessly going through the same individual crafting formulas in a terrible UI sound like a good time? In that case, my friend, War Thunder's events are the perfect activity for you. I know that I like to rag on War Thunder a lot, but its events are probably what I hate most about it, and there are plenty of reasons for that. I feel like I should have a little disclaimer here. I can request vehicles from Gaijin, including event vehicles. That's why you'll see me playing stuff like the Object 279 or Merkava. While I can get these vehicles for essentially just making videos, I do subject myself to these events, just to see what everyone else is putting up with. Honestly, I don't know how you all do it. Even under quarantine, I couldn't complete a single 279 during the last crafting event. It was certainly doable, at least if you had the time and motivation, but you needed to have a lot of both. What rubs me the wrong way the most is how Gaijin markets these events. They'll often release these vehicles in an overpowered or under-tiered state to drive up hype. This encourages people to invest time into the event, and if they can't finish it on time, they're more likely to either buy the parts required or buy the completed vehicle off the market, just so it doesn't feel like all that time was wasted. A few months after the vehicle comes out, and Gaijin has made enough money off of it, they'll start to actually balance it. They're not even original with what vehicles they choose for the rewards. This is the third event Merkava in what, a year? 2 years? It's either that or a Soviet heavy tank. Gaijin's stance is that they focus on the three main tech trees, America, Russia, and Germany, so that minor nations can have more tech tree vehicles. Problem is though, there are still plenty of other options besides Israeli tanks or Soviet heavies. God knows there's plenty of experimental Soviet MBTs, early Cold War American prototypes, or other miscellaneous vehicles. In fact, I made an entire video about unique event vehicles that could be added instead. I think the real reason Gaijin chooses these vehicles over and over again is because they know that people will shell out money for them. Their success has already been proven time and time again. Why risk adding something unique when you have a formula you know works? It's such a blatant cash grab, but even I would be hard pressed to say the new Merkava isn't fun. That's ignoring how much havoc these events wreak on gameplay though. During task events especially, players are encouraged to use the most scummy tactics in order to get the vehicles done faster. Using vehicles like the R3, T20, and Type 93 to rush caps and then leave the match is one of the most obvious examples. During crafting events it's not as bad, since you get the crates based on time played, but the RNG element makes it about as frustrating. Then there's how much the reward vehicles get spammed once the event is over with. This leads to matches where everyone will leave after one death, because the event vehicle is the only one they had in that BR range. Or you get matches where everyone gets destroyed by a swarm of semi-overpowered vehicles. Of course, there's not a whole lot that can be done to counteract that, beyond maybe putting a cap on how many reward vehicles can be spawned in a match, but that would probably just make everyone angrier. Point is, War Thunder becomes exponentially more frustrating to play during events. And speaking of anger, who designed the crafting system? I don't know who railed against the option to craft multiple objects at once, but whoever they are, I have never been closer to wishing physical harm on someone. That's a joke, by the way. I can't exactly say I enjoy sitting in a poorly designed menu clicking button after button after button just to make a single mid-tier crafting element. If Gaijin is going to act like the crafting event is a full-time job, then I should be able to file workers' comp for carpal tunnel. Though they did add a button to open the next chest, so that's cool, I guess. If it were up to me, I'd change how these events are done in a few ways. For one, prioritize some of the more out-there vehicles instead of the same stuff over and over again. People like having novelty vehicles, even if they aren't incredibly effective. Things like the Churchill AVRE, XP56, or the Weasel. Second, decrease the amount of time that needs to be spent on the event. Not everyone can, or should, devote 40 hours a week to War Thunder, even during quarantine. I can think of 100 things I would rather be doing with that amount of time. Third, make the events more lighthearted. Make a special non-serious game mode that you can play to earn the reward vehicles. You could even do something like bring back the April Fool's mechs. The event should actually feel special. They shouldn't feel like a marathon of the same matches I've been playing all year. Maybe everyone else is content with that, but I'm definitely not. It feels like there's a ton of potential here that's just thrown away in favor of more money. I get that War Thunder is a pretty unconventional business model, but it still doesn't sit well with me. With all that said, if you are grinding the current event, I wish you the best of luck. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.